time is it?
Oh, 400 hours.
Oh, why did you guys have to bring me all the way out here at this time of day, morning, night, whatever it is?
Oh, a natural curiosity.
Oh, you're a sadist, Paul Metcalf, you know that?
Another 10 minutes, then we'll start back.
Oh, that just makes it all the more pointless. What possible reason could you have for dragging me out of bed? Oh, right, okay. Yeah, the randomizer. Press button, get printout, need sleep. Yes, fine, whatever. Whoever wants to press it, yes, go ahead.
You're the electronics expert, Lieutenant. You think you can handle the controls?
Yes, Captain Scarlet.
Right. What can it be? We'll soon know.
I just hope it's something that makes getting out of bed at this ungodly hour worthwhile.
Look.
Yes, that's the what did you call it? The printout. That's it.
Yes.
So, Captain Scarlet, if you would give us the good or the bad news.
Let's see. It's Crater 101.
Oh, excellent. Oh, well, that's sure to make some people very happy. I dare say it's almost worth getting out of bed for.
Do I get a coconut?
Now, I did say almost.
Let's get over there and investigate.
Leading the fight, one man fate has made indestructible. His name, Captain Scarlet.
So here we are. This has been a long time coming. We've had Lunarville 7 and we've had Dangerous Rendezvous, but we haven't had the middle installment of the Lunarville trilogy, Crater 101. But here it is today, and I instantly love this picture of...
Stop the picture.
...the Mysteron complex that we start off with.
Possible doubt. That shot proves conclusively Crater 101 on the far side of the moon houses a Mysteron complex.
Yes, Colonel. We were shocked when we saw it from the Moonmobile.
Shocked, startled, and surprised, Colonel. Yes, I love the way that, A, the complex looks completely different to the last time we saw it, which I think is a good thing, because I wasn't quite... It was hard to get a sense of what or where it was last time. But also I love all the machines have lined up for a group photo. I think that's quite sweet.
Have been made with the lunar authorities to carry this out.
Anywho, we have a plan for dealing with this.
More dangerous. It involves a calculated risk of the first
Colonel White says it must be destroyed as soon as possible, even though in most running orders, this episode doesn't follow Lunarville 7 immediately.
Decided to send a volunteer party into Crater 101, into the Mysteron complex. Objective? To find and remove the power source from the complex.
And I've decided you guys are the volunteer party. Yes, Scarlet, Blue and Green.
Although you have discovered our complex on the moon, it will never reveal its secrets. Anyone who dares to enter will be destroyed.
I've always thought that this Mysteron threat almost sounded like...
Been warned.
Yes.
We have not...
Sorry, they're still talking. I always thought that this threat sounded like the Mysterons were sort of holding up their car keys and sort of dangling it in front of the Earth. Woohoo! Look at this! Tempting! You want this, but don't come. But if you can, woo! Look, you could learn secrets. It's... The way they phrase it is so much of, just a tantalizing prospect that Spectrum can't afford to pass up, probably. And now we have this shot of everyone just sort of sitting in silence while the jolly Spectrum music plays out.
Your decisions can be made in the strictest confidence.
I'm ready to go, sir.
Thank you, Lieutenant. As the electronics expert, you will play a vital part in the operation.
Count me in, sir.
Thank you, Captain. I know I can rely on you.
He's full of praise for everybody this week.
Well, Colonel, I am due for 48 hours furlough in Miami. But I couldn't really relax knowing the kind of trouble these two would get into without...
And that's an interesting shot there. I think that may be the only time in the series you see Captain Blue's smiling face.
Or what you will find.
Probably good, because it looks a bit strange. Because Captain Blue, I think, had a face that sort of looked quite smiley anyway. If not smiley, then, he clearly possessed an upbeat personality. The smiling head just looks a bit weird. I'm glad that wasn't used again.
Area. It was built up from
But we're here now, on the moon, in Lunarville 6.
days.
What do we know about the vehicles which were building the complex?
And they built a model of Crater 101.
Programmed to carry out the task. This larger one controls the operation.
I don't know how or when all this was started.
The lunar controller was a Mysteron agent.
Citation needed, I think.
Him when Lunarville 7 was destroyed.
Again, nothing in Lunarville 7 to say that he absolutely 110% was a Mysteron agent.
Decided to use a low...
Personally, I've always felt it was more interesting that perhaps he wasn't, but
Investigated.
Good.
hey-ho, I'm not going to argue with Linda Nolan and her rather pointy glasses.
Are the arrangements for the atomic device finalized, Fraser?
Yes, Miss Nolan. I will follow the Moonmobile in a lunar tank carrying the bomb.
Oh, I recognise that computer prop. I think that's the one from Ricochet.
Standard Earth
The
time.
one with all the lights and tape recorders on the bottom. It's just behind Fraser there.
2 to get to Crater 101, and 4 hours to remove the power source and get clear.
So we have a plan.
We're on our way.
We're going to head out to the complex, have a look around, and then blow it up at midnight.
I'd like you to take this. It's a lucky charm. I'm not really superstitious, but please take it.
To Linda Nolan, the CB-29 Neptune probe, July 10th, 2058.
Another July 10th.
We made it ahead of schedule.
I remember. You were the project controller on the first Neptune probe launched from the moon.
Yes, Captain Blue.
That's a lot of writing to get on one lucky charm, I've always thought as well. To get all that on there, it would need to be, like, I don't know,
Let's go.
at least twice the size. Anywho, we have this.
Man, and very good looking.
Who?
Captain Scarlet.
Yes, I suppose so. I didn't really notice.
Yes, Miss Nolan.
I've always... A lot of people, I think, have found that an odd moment. I've personally always chosen to believe that at that point Fraser isn't yet a Mysteron, because I kind of think Fraser wouldn't sort of start up that kind of conversation with Linda, although I think it was Special Assignment where a Mysteron agent looked at Scarlet and described him as the dark, good-looking one. Some have suggested that possibly Fraser is gay. That may be why he calls out, the fact that Scarlet is quite an attractive man. I'm sure it wasn't written that way, but it's certainly, I think, there if you want to infer it. But many years ago, I can't remember why, I was looking at the possibility of novelising some Captain Scarlet. And as I said there,
Leave, Fraser.
Yes, Miss
I
Nolan.
felt that Fraser wasn't a Mysteron in his first appearance.
Night SET.
He is now, I
Some
think.
time to get clear.
Just something clues me into the fact that he might be a Mysteron at this point.
Fraser, are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine.
His
Your instructions will be carried out.
vacant stare, blank monotone, and the dramatic music. Yeah, it's an oddly different performance from when we last saw him, and I always assumed that, well, if I'd novelised the episode as I for some reason had planned to at some point,
Out in an hour.
he would have seen off Scarlet and Blue and Green in the Moonmobile, and then as he turned to leave, he would have spotted someone out on the lunar surface, and he would have been looking around the windows, and he would have been encouraged into an airlock, which would have shut behind him, and then the door would have opened into the vacuum. And of course, it's Captain Black working the airlock doors to kill him. Just a little insight into not a Lost Worlds of Anderson, but a Lost Worlds of Dale, I guess, there. Anywho, as the lunar tractor departs Lunarville 7, the sort of departure area was made up of bits and pieces from other episodes. There was the mini-sat housing from Shadow of Fear,
Captain Scarlet on the Interspace radio link, sir.
and one of the pressure domes from Avalanche.
Captain Scarlet?
Yes, Colonel. We're about to cross the lunar horizon. We will then be on the far side of the moon from Earth, and we'll lose all radio contact.
I understand, Captain.
So I'm going to tell you I love you now.
When we arrive at the crater, we will immobilize the control vehicle and then enter the complex.
They're so sure of themselves. We can, as alien technology, we can immobilize it, no problem.
SIG, Captain. Report back as soon as the radio link is restored. Out.
What are their chances, sir?
They cannot be calculated.
Oh.
Men have faced the unknown before, but I believe no man has ever faced what awaits them in Crater 101.
Donald Gray's really good at the sort of prophetic, doom-laden pronouncement. And I think in that moment there, they really sold it, because there's an extreme zoom in on the Colonel's face, right up to his eyes, and then it just slowly goes out of focus.
It's just over this ridge.
SIG.
Also, again, Captain Magenta has been left in charge of the cloud-based communications console. Always nice to see him picking up a bit of extra work here and there. But they've arrived now. The Moonmobile has
Stop the Moonmobile.
hopped its way to the edge of Crater 101. The vehicles are still lined up for their little group photo, but now we're down on the ground. We're now down at street level. An odd shot.
Well, it answers one question. How to get in?
You mean we'll go in the same way?
Yes, Lieutenant. Let's get into the moon tractor.
Yes, they're talking about how they're going to get into the Mysteron complex, and there was a shot there of what I guess was meant to be one of the Mysteron vehicles entering the city through what could be a sort of force field, but it's really hard to see what that actually is meant to be. It looks like just a smear of Vaseline, and yeah, one of the few shots in this episode that I would say are not just unconvincing, but actually unclear. It's a very unhelpful shot in terms of establishing what's going on. Anywho, Scarlet and Blue and Green have got into the lunar tractor, but the Mysteron control vehicle is already after them.
Knock out that control vehicle.
And its two radio-controlled henchmen are also on
Lieutenant Green?
the case. And I do like the look of these vehicles. I know some people find them a bit silly. Oh, there's that sound effect again. The Spectrum rifle. That goes back to Torchy, that sound effect.
There's another. Swerve.
But yeah, I just love the fact that this looks so unlike anything else we've ever seen in the series. It does look like Mysteron tech.
The control vehicle?
There's so much dust.
The huge clawing arms on the top.
Fire.
You know, you can look at those and think, okay, that is a machine designed for work, for building work. But it also makes a credible threat, so they're nice vehicles, these. I also like the control vehicle, which just sort of zips about everywhere and doesn't really do much. Oh, but one of the grabby machines has pulled in front of the lunar tractor and created a trench that they've driven into. Also, I suppose we should mention the terminology of vehicles here. This is the lunar tractor, which has weapons, and Fraser is driving the lunar tank, which does not have weapons, and is bringing the bomb up. I've always felt that the terms were the wrong way round. This thing should be the tank, what with it being, you know, armed.
It won't budge.
And the tank should have been the tractor, because it's doing the heavy lifting of the bomb. Anywho, that mistake notwithstanding,
You have one chance, Lieutenant. Don't miss.
we have what is probably Lieutenant Green's, if not greatest moment, then certainly most well-remembered moment here, where he single-handedly blows up the Mysteron control vehicle and saves them all from the evil robot thing.
Do I get a coconut?
If we ever get out of this, Lieutenant, I'll buy you all the coconuts you can eat.
Ah, there's a nice little bit of banter and humour there. I like that.
6 to lunar tank. What?
I doubt Scarlet kept his word when they got back to Earth, but you never know.
Right. Remember, set the detonator for 12 o'clock SET.
I am sorry, Earthwoman.
Oh,
Woman.
The detonator is already set for 10.
oh dear.
2 hours earlier than Spectrum think.
Fraser. Listen to me, Fraser.
Captain Scarlet is below the lunar horizon.
Yes, indeed.
You cannot contact him. He will die in Crater 101.
So that's a very effective cliffhanger, and we come back to find...
Lieutenant Green's freed the lunar tractor. We're ready to go.
Yes, they sent Green out there all by himself with apparently no equipment to free the lunar tractor. It doesn't actually look like he's done anything, but Blue says he has.
Tell Lieutenant Green to get back in here.
SIG.
Here comes Fraser with the bomb.
I'm about to release the atomic device.
Everyone's using communicators that look like pens.
Good luck. Out. And goodbye, Earthmen.
Oh. I'm also wondering if this interior cockpit set of the lunar tractor that Fraser is in, it's so hard to keep these round the right way because as I know they're wrong. I think that might be the interior set of the Spectrum hovercraft from Traitor. Anywho, Fraser has deposited the bomb, and that, interestingly, is the last we see of him in this episode, as he just reverses out of the crater. Yeah, he's not mentioned again. Nobody thinks it's important to track him down. Again, going back to my idea for a novelization, I hate to keep going on about that, but I always felt that there should have been a point where Fraser reappeared just as Blue and Green were trying to escape the crater. Like, you know, on their journey in the lunar tank back to the Moonmobile, Fraser appears and is trying to smash them, and ultimately they have to blow him up. It's just so strange that I don't know if he's forgotten. He just sort of, there's no real room in the story to deal with him. So he's presumably at liberty to tear around the moon.
Radio check. Captain Blue?
In a, if not armed vehicle, then quite a large vehicle to do a bit of damage, but never mind.
Go in.
Through the wall?
Through the wall.
We don't need to worry about Fraser because here we are in the Mysteron complex on the moon. And it's instantly just one of the most striking visuals
Indescribable.
of any Anderson show.
Let's move on.
And what I find so incredible about this is the people making this had no reason to assume, other than the fact that it might be shown in America, they had no reason to assume that this would ever be shown in colour. At the very least, they had to assume that most of the people who saw this on first broadcast would be seeing it in black and white.
Situation negative.
You can level that about the entire show. You know, you have an organisation filled with colour-coded officers in a series being shown in black and white. But this...
Where's Lieutenant Green?
This just kaleidoscope of
Lieutenant Green!
colours and lights and shadows. It's absolutely phenomenal stuff, and they did not need to go to all this trouble. They really didn't.
Over there.
And we are now reaping the rewards of the fact that they did, because in HD this looks incredible.
Lieutenant Green, what's wrong?
Those lights. They're hypnotic.
Yep, our Spectrum team has, well, they've already bungled the assignment, pretty much. They've entered the complex and been distracted by some lights.
You...
Green and blue are
I
utterly out of it.
I mustn't look.
Oh, Scarlet, because he's so tough, he's going to pull out his space gun and do a bit of shooting at it. And it's interesting that that's a different model handgun to the usual Spectrum pistols. Looks quite good, actually. I'm not sure why that was never seen again.
All been transfixed.
I couldn't look away. I tried, but I just couldn't.
Let's move on and stay together.
I've also often wondered what it would be like to actually wear one of those Spectrum
Fraser is a
helmets.
Are you sure, Controller?
Because there's so much foam in there, it can't be comfortable. It could be quite warm, though.
instead of 12.
What? Or isn't there some way we can warn Captain Scarlet?
No, he's out of radio range.
Oh, dear. So, luckily for Miss Nolan, she's lost her chap Fraser, but she still has Schroeder.
You're just in front of where you're standing.
Yes, this I think looks a bit strange with the correctly proportioned puppets.
Yeah.
Having them walk into this anti-gravity bit that makes them float up to the ceiling.
I found the hub.
Because they look like what they are, puppets on wires. I don't know. I mean, I obviously I can't think of any other way they would have done it unless they sort of lifted them in from below.
Look.
But... oh...
What is it?
There's only one way to find out.
We walk up to it very, very slowly. And even today, watching this episode, this does feel like a sort of landmark, almost event within the run of episodes of the show, because I think a lot of fans always wanted some kind of return to Mars and the Mysteron complex that we never got in the original series. But we have this return to the same kind of technology and environment that we saw in those first fleeting moments in the very first episode.
Remember the 12 o'clock deadline.
I would have to assume a lot of this is reused, or at least some of it.
Bomb explodes.
An unmanned rocket. Could it work?
Yeah, could do.
There's the slimmest chance, but it's the only one.
I also like this idea that they're not alone. There is another team of good guys in this episode who are involved with this project, not directly, but they're trying to help out our Spectrum heroes who don't know that the bomb has been set
Rocket is ready on the launch
for 10 o'clock instead of the agreed 12, because those Mysterons reset the clock.
All we can do now is hope.
5, 4, 3,
2, 1, lift off.
Yep, Lunarville are launching their rocket. This is later going to be revealed, just in case I waffle over it. The same model of rocket that Linda Nolan mentioned having been aboard for the Neptune probe.
I'm going to try...
CB-29. which we're told is obsolete, so I don't know why they would have any hanging around, but hey-ho, I suppose if it still works, may as well get some use out of the tech. And while Scarlet is trying to remove the power source from the central table...
What was that?
The rocket arrives.
Oh, I'll go and find out.
Suspicious explosion sound in an alien complex. Oh, I'm sure it's fine. Go and investigate on your own. We've now got 15 minutes left.
Can you see anything, Captain Blue?
Yes, it's an unmanned space probe, an old CB-29.
Another lovely touch with this episode, and it was there in Lunarville 7 as well, is Barry Gray's music. Those just strange sounds and haunting noises do so much to suggest that this is an alien environment and
To Lyndon Nolan.
The Mysteron's music, obviously, is very hostile and harsh.
58.
But the moon atmosphere stuff is also lovely.
Schedule. Can you see a connection?
And our heroes are
Ahead of schedule.
very slowly putting the pieces together.
Use 12 o'clock SET.
And this is a fun shot.
The bomb. It could mean the bomb will explode ahead of schedule. Captain Blue, check the detonator timing on that atomic device.
Because I always think Captain Scarlet looks like he's bouncing up and down with excitement when he says, check the detonator timing on that atomic device. It's just, he's bouncing in time with the dialogue. It's very subtle, but once you've seen it, he almost looks like he needs to pee. I'm sorry for lowering the tone, but there's just something sort of almost like he's bouncing on the spot for some reason. Whoa.
Scarlet, the detonator's set for 10. Get out of there. The whole crater will go up in 5 minutes.
Get into the Moonmobile. I'll follow as soon as I can.
I'm coming back.
No, at least get the cameras to safety.
Captain Scarlet.
You know I'm right, Adam. Do as I say.
Spectrum is green.
Oh, he's always right. We all know that. I was looking at the spacesuits here, and I do like the designs of them, but I'm never quite sure about the helmets. It kind of looks like they're not fastened down. You know, that you could just take them off at the neck, and to a certain extent I don't see how they afford much protection. But anywho, Blue and Green have returned to the Moonmobile.
2 minutes to detonation.
In the lunar tractor. They've made good time. Loaded the thing back aboard, which is interesting because it must be very small to fit in the Moonmobile. But Scarlet has got the Mysteron power source with 56 seconds to go. He's now got to race out of there. I always wonder with this as well, how they get down the anti-gravity bit.
Here. Any sign of...
when they're leaving. Is it that there's just no gravity there, or is there something sort of propelling them up, keeping them in that room? Because if that was the case, they would have been in serious trouble. But I guess it must just be no gravity, they got out easily, and just in time, because kablooey! Now, this beautiful Mysteron complex model goes up in flames. And it's a lovely shot of Blue and Green watching from the
Make it.
from the edge of the crater.
Didn't make it.
Look.
Ah, he made it.
What a guy.
And very good looking.
Yes, he made it. Of course he made it. And, yeah, he's got the Mysteron power source, which we know from the episode Dangerous Rendezvous will lead into a thrilling and satisfying conclusion to the Lunarville trilogy, and we'll say no more about that.
Reconnaissance shows it was a complete success.
We blew up everything.
It means that the Mysteron powers of reconstruction are somehow connected with this power source.
Or that's what they want you to think.
Once. Well, I'm afraid it's goodbye.
Oh.
Thank you for everything.
Goodbye, Captain Scarlet.
And a subtle touch here. She's taken off her glasses.
I'd take it as a favor if you'd keep it.
Thank you. Let's go, Adam.
She loves him. Oh, all the girls love him.
And so good looking.
I suppose so. I didn't think you'd notice.
Being as stuck up and frigid as you are, old girl, I didn't think you'd notice. Yeah, well, there we go. That was the end of Linda Nolan and her relationship with Captain Scarlet, and that was Crater 101, which I hope I've given the impression that I thoroughly enjoyed that one, because I absolutely do. Directed by Ken Turner. Some good stuff here. Good stuff all round. As I said, I think this is one of the sort of landmark episodes of the series, not just in terms of the story with the return to the Mysteron complex, even though it's not the same one we saw in the first episode. I think that's something that viewers at the time, and even watching this in subsequent decades and generations, must have been clamoring for. But more than that, just the way the story is told. And the visual elements of this one, the visuals in this are, I don't know if it's because they're so unusual to the series, but I think it's just they're so unusual and strange and genuinely terrific all round. It's so strange to think that this is, so many of the Anderson shows, they put so much into these, and this is a possibly the definitive example of an episode where they put so much in that at the time they would have had no idea could have been appreciated to the extent that we now can in HD. This was shown again in black and white on first broadcast. It's incredible. And that's probably the word that best describes this episode all round. It's absolutely incredible. Really good stuff.